In today's video, I will be exploring the potential consequences of a default and its impact on Pakistan's economy. So, a default occurs when a country is unable to make a payment on a debt service obligation when it falls due. In Pakistan's context, a default refers to a situation when the country's foreign currency reserves deplete to a point where it cannot make import payments, nor can it maintain correspondent banking relationships with international banks. Now, according to a recent study analyzing 130 instances of default since 1900, the consequences of a default are far-reaching and long-lasting. Poverty rises by 30%, infant mortality increases by 13% per year, life expectancy decreases, and access to nutrition, energy, and health services sharply decline. During power outages in Pakistan, the impact on various sectors was severe. For example, during a nationwide power shutdown in January earlier this year, mobile towers quickly ran out of backup power, leading to a shutdown of mobile networks. ATMs and point-of-sale machines relying on cellular networks were rendered inoperable, affecting financial transactions. Additionally, internet traffic fell to less than half of its normal level for 24 hours, significantly impacting businesses reliant on online connectivity. Fuel shortages can also have a domino effect on essential services. In the petrol crisis of 2015, emergency services including ambulances and police vehicles ran out of fuel within 24 hours. Moreover, the city of Lahore experienced a significant impact on its vehicle fleet as most automobiles were unable to function without sufficient fuel. Karachi, for example, barely has 6 to 7 days of perishable foods in its inventories on any given day, and estimates of the number of trucks that bring food into the city on a daily basis range from hundreds to thousands. Now, examining recent defaults in countries like Lebanon, Sri Lanka, and Zambia provide valuable insights into the potential challenges Pakistan may face. Lebanon's recent experience offers lessons on managing a crisis after default. Following crippling foreign exchange shortages, Lebanon's state-owned power company could only provide 1 to 3 hours of electricity per day to most areas. So essentially, electricity in Lebanon was a service only the wealthiest could afford. So as a result, the country heavily relied on diesel generators, with people adapting to a life largely without electricity. Inflation soared, with the average household spending 44% of their monthly income on generator bills. In 2021, when the crisis in Lebanon began, it hit its peak in early 2022. Inflation had already soared by 145% and the currency value was halved. Imagine the dollar and petrol at 600 rupees today to get an idea what the year was like for that country. Furthermore, Lebanon's currency, the pound, plummeted from a rate of 1,500 to the dollar to a staggering 15,000 to the dollar, a depreciation of 900%. Imagine the dollar in Pakistan going to 2,800 rupees in 1 week, and you'll get a sense of what the Lebanese endured. To mitigate the effects of a crisis, countries like Sri Lanka implemented measures such as fuel rationing through an app-based system known as the National Fuel Pass that required users to enter their vehicle number, and once registered, the app would allow the user to purchase a weekly quota of fuel through a QR code. However, implementing similar schemes in Pakistan could face challenges due to the complex network of fuel stations and limited compliance. The vast majority of pumps in the country are dealer-owned, and getting them to comply with government directives can obviously be very difficult beyond the price. Considering Pakistan's large population, social dynamics, and urban centers, managing a comprehensive balance of payments crisis would be even more challenging. The potential consequences of a default, including long-term setbacks and hardships, underscore the need to find sustainable solutions and obviously avoid experiencing a full-fledged default scenario. However, let's take a look at what a default would look like for Pakistan. Welcome to a world where everyday life is nearing the edge of a collapse, where the shadows of despair loom over every corner of society. In this chilling scenario, Pakistan finds itself on the edge of a default, plunging its people into a horrifying experience. The mere thought of survival becomes a daunting task as you realize that the country's fuel reserves can barely sustain the population for 2 weeks. Your car's fuel light flickers, reminding you that you only have about 20 kilometers left before it comes to a stop. Meanwhile, your water supply trickles away, leaving you with just a few days' worth in your rooftop tank. The generator, a lifeline in these uncertain times, threatens to die out, casting darkness upon your home. And to add to that misery, gas has been cut off due to the utility's inability to function. Frantically, you dial every water tanker owner's number, hoping to secure a delivery of much needed water, but each call crushes your hopes further as you learn that they have nothing to offer, as they are trapped in endless queues themselves. With no other choice, you set out to find an LPG cylinder for your stove, followed by a hunt for fuel for your car and generator, and then a search for a water tanker. But amidst this chaos, cash becomes king. With card payments disabled, you make your way to the bank to withdraw money. The scene at the branch is overwhelming, with countless desperate individuals vying for their share. It takes you almost 2 hours to get to the teller, and the teller informs you that the cash is being rationed due to the limited availability caused by fuel shortages. After a lengthy wait, you manage to withdraw what little you can, escaping the suffocating crowd. Attempting to reach out to the loved ones, you discover that the mobile signal has disappeared. As you drive, you spot a group of people gathered by the roadside, all clutching their phones in a desperate attempt to find a signal. Realization then strikes that communication may be a luxury you can no longer afford. Finally, you arrive at the fuel station, only to be greeted by a chaotic queue stretching nearly half a kilometer. Frustration mounts as motorbikes aggressively jostle for position, and tension thickens amongst those waiting with their jerry cans. Hours pass and you are finally able to fill your car and generator, but the attendant tells you that they're only selling 10 liters per car due to the looming threat of violence from those further back in line. Exhausted but determined, you head to the water pumping station, hoping to secure a water tanker. The situation is no better here, with the mob of people surrounding the available water-filled trucks. Fights break out as the desperate bid against each other to secure their share. Against all odds, you manage to secure a tanker and embark on a treacherous journey back home to ensure the precious cargo reaches its destination. Once you reach home, the tanker offloads its water into your underground tank, while you arrange to have the jerry can with 10 liters of fuel emptied into your generator. Once this is done, you pay off the tanker driver and head out looking for LPG, where the same story repeats itself one more time. By the time you are finished, you are exhausted, baked in dried sweat, and you realize most of the funds you withdrew from the bank earlier in the day are gone. When you get home, you sit in front of the TV and learn that dollars have vanished from open market, and reports are coming in that they are selling for as high as 3,000 rupees in the black market. The box of cereal that you used to buy for 1,200 rupees at the supermarket now carries a price tag of 12,000 rupees. This is the morning price, sir, the attendant tells you when you ask whether this might be a mistake. By the evening, it will rise even further. One trend being noticed even today is some essential food items such as wheat are being diverted to elite localities because consumers there are more price insensitive and willing to pay whatever is being asked. As the nightmare continues, rumors intensify suggesting that withdrawals from dollar accounts will soon be frozen. However, even if you could access your funds, the banks repeatedly turn you away, claiming they have run out of cash. The fear deepens as whispers of potential freezes on lockers circulate, with the government suspecting hoarding of cash in dollars. In this dire and chilling reality, hope seems like a distant memory, replaced by fear, desperation, and uncertainty. The horrors of a Pakistani default have unleashed a relentless nightmare on its people, where survival becomes a daily battle against an unforgiving system. This is exactly how it worked in Sri Lanka, Lebanon, and Zambia, when these countries defaulted and ran out of their foreign exchange reserves. In each of these three countries, the situation persisted for at least 1 year, while they negotiated debt restructuring deals with their creditors in order to pave the way for an IMF program, which is their only way out. Now, Pakistan could find itself in this sort of situation described in this video by October or November, given the present state of the foreign currency reserves and the debt repayments looming in the months ahead. At the moment this video is being recorded, news is already filtering in that Pakistan may yet clinch a deal with the IMF. If this happens, the likelihood of a default will be pushed forward, perhaps by a year. It would be better to not find out firsthand what default actually looks like for Pakistan.